Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're doing well. I have a wonderful pineapple scented candle and relaxing after a hard day. So I wanted to talk to you tonight, about something that I've really been thinking about concerning the pro-death, aka pro-abortion movement. Now, if you're not familiar, the Satanists, they believe that children are very close to God, that their purity is deeply connected to God. And so, by harming the youngest child possible, you have somehow, the way they phrased it was mocked God, hurt God, one-upped God. They have their very strange phraseology that us as Muslims know. High above Allah is He, and they only doom their own selves. Nothing they can do can hurt Allah. It's only going to condemn them to the hellfire. So we know that. I'm talking about what they think they're doing. So that's why you see so many instances of the occultists and the Satanists and such marketing certain things towards children that will lead them to self-destruction. And why there is such a unity between the atheists and the Satanists. I mean, I'm sure you've come across atheists sharing and the Church of Satan doing apologetics for Satanism, minimizing what Satanism is, and simultaneously mocking Islam and Christianity. But ironically, never really mocking the Jews, which is very telling of their truth-telling, right? So, and they also don't mock Hindus either. It's only Muslims and Christians who they pick on, and mostly Christians, at least in America for now. So I was thinking about abortion, how abortion is the youngest you can get a child, right? And if you look on the books about how late term abortions are being pushed, and how some feminists, liberals, and Democrats push abortion to be even any time on demand for any reason at all. And one must wonder how certain Muslim women and men make excuses and do apologetics that actually benefit the Satanists by saying that the soul isn't there till 40-something days, therefore it's not a life, and therefore it's fine. And if there's no Khalifa to take care of the child, well, it's a mercy to get rid of the child. You know, these type of satanic apologetics just shows you how effective the propaganda of the Satanists is, and how YouTube, social media, the leftist-run media sites essentially, ban, scrape, and remove a lot of classic Christian content that exposed a lot of this agenda, which had a lot of rationality to it. And then you see the ex-Muslims never ever take a jab at the occultists, never ever go after the Satanists, but rather make excuses and almost really just become talking heads for that particular movement without actually seeing the negative effects or going on those forums and seeing the type of darkness, sadness, nihilism, and self-hatred and mental illness circus that is apparent on those forums. And how that is a real threat to us now. So, if some of us Muslim women take a step back and we think about how these Satanists who exist in the American society, of course, all over the world. But I'd say America is the breeding ground for them because the Christians, they have failed and they're losing the war. And Muslims are very fragile because the right-wing Christians, some of them, vehemently are absurd in thinking that Islam is a race and that Islam means anti-white people and that Islam is an enemy. So they hate the liberals and then they hate the Muslims. So Muslims have a hard choice on choosing the Rainbow Mafia to their left or the Peckerwoods to the right. Peckerwoods are skinheads. I think it's a slur for those moronic people who are too obsessed with race. And so the Muslim American has a hard road. But what we can say is that for us American reverts, we have to do our best in not helping the Satanists get the children that they want. And it's becoming intensively difficult because liberals with their agendas of grooming and whatnot are removing the veil of innocence from children through music videos, through cartoons, through that disgusting flag they wave, and they masquerade it as tolerance, inclusivity, and very clever, extremely clever and effective psychological warfare that manipulates people's emotions while they turn their backs on the most vulnerable. And so, for us, by learning safely at a distance why these Satanists push so hard to get around your kids, and why the atheists say nothing at all about it, and how the liberals align with that agenda, because so many on the left, they're not even... It's impossible to be a liberal and to be an Orthodox Christian. It doesn't work. That's oil and water. It don't mix. So, the real authentic Christians have been speaking out for a long time, but their voices have been banned. So, the Christian strategy was to make very effective exposés about the symbology, the corruption of these politicians, sneaking into the rituals they do. It was hyper effective, but the liberals banned it under right-wing conspiracy theories and called them domestic terrorists and created all types of slanders against them. So for the Muslims, for us, to get around the liberal oppression and agenda that serves the Satanists concerning abortion, we must show the fruit of love and the mercy of life, and to give women hope concerning raising children, and how being a wife is an easy way to paradise. Don't nag too much, don't be ungrateful, be chaste, don't commit adultery, be modest. Allah makes it very approachable for us women to earn paradise. Likewise, Shaitan is very clever in creating ways to hellfire. And abortion is one way to that. And I don't know if you're aware, there's a left-wing group called Jane's Revenge. And they have been attacking pro-life centers, Christian churches, Catholic centers, and have been tearing down their statues, spraying graffiti. And I watched a video on BitChute because videos that expose a lot of the left-wing terrorism get banned. I have seen this myself when I used to post on Facebook before I left the app. they would get censored all the time and removed. There was a video that just showed how many Christian centers have been attacked, and how the mainstream media doesn't file that under domestic terrorism. So we have to remember that everything they do to Christians, we are right behind them. Right behind them. So if they're going to attack people who help people keep their children, and they create films and music videos that glorify abortion, that frame children as pests, and they create t-shirts that say, "My children have paws," like cat paws, dog paws. We have to create a different type of strategy of, my children are humans. My children have hands. They don't have paws. No such thing as a fur baby. We have to put the love and nurturing nature back into what it means to be a woman. The occultists have used the left to rob us authentic, real women of a word that describes us. That is an intentional aspect of how they remove who we are, minimize who we are, erase who we are, and then, by calling a child not fully human until it's out of your body, despite the baby wiggling, kicking, seeing its heartbeat on the ultrasound, seeing it suck its thumb on the ultrasound, they have removed the honor that pregnant women should have. So the leftists who serve the occultic agenda and the atheists who are on that side, they so vehemently hate the Christians with a deep passion. We cannot sit idle and think that their Medusa head, their Hydra head, will not turn upon us. And this time we must learn how the Christians failed in their strategy. I read their books. They have done amazing work, but they got banned. They were called hate preachers. You have to go to their websites. It's harder to buy their books because Amazon won't sell it. So it's more difficult. Libraries won't take their books. It's getting harder. So if we Muslims unite in our efforts to champion stay-at-home moms, to support gender roles, to encourage modesty, to encourage mother groups, help each other learn how to homeschool, help each other to hold public schools accountable, all the different things we can do to create a delay in the liberal agenda, this can help. This can truly help. Because since they believe many horrible things, but since in these forums they tell their followers that a great sacrifice will earn a great materialistic reward and that they can make a pact with Lucifer, this is turning many lost, angry teens who are covetous, envious, have a chip on their shoulder, to go towards a darker path. And the atheists, the edgelords, they encourage people to go that route because they meme it, they minimize its effects, slam religion, and then it directs these people down a pipeline of decay. So I'm really hoping that some of you sisters and brothers will join me in being pro-father and pro-mother. Because now more than ever, we need people to create that stuff. You in your country, you may be saying, we already know this, it goes without saying. But you should learn from America's mistakes and prepare yourself accordingly. If my country was perfect and I saw in another country what was happening in America, I would be like, okay, somebody's flown the flag. They've shown us what's coming. We got the signal. Prepare, whether it's 3, 5, 10 years from now, doesn't matter. You build the bricks of fortification piece by piece over time, so that when the horde arrives, there's resistance there that is firm. Because we have to put our best foot forward and make sure we did everything in our power to help give our children an advantage against the dark arts and the legions of Satan. And so I highly encourage you to create pro-mother content, pro-fatherhood content, because the feminists and others, they want to come for the children. They have a different type of anger that is very palatable, very potent. So you have to do your best in making sure that you put up a good resistance against that. And I hope you understood my points and also pitch in some ideas of your own. Have a good night.